I threw a recital for my 9-year-old daughter, Ellie, and invited my family. Nobody showed. A week later, my sister sent an invite. Her husband's 40th birthday bash. $1,800 a head. Venmo her. Not a word of apology. So I sent $2 with a note, "Happy birthday." I changed the locks, blocked their numbers. 3 days later, cops knocked on my door. My name's Marcus. I'm 35. A single dad. I fix HVAC systems for a living and keep a budget tighter than a drum. I know the cost of a loaf of bread at Walmart, Target, and the corner bodega. I can tell you which gas station has the cheapest unleaded on Thursdays. Ellie loves piano, hates broccoli, and thinks I'm a superhero because I can unclog a drain without calling a plumber. We live in a modest duplex on the edge of Raleigh, North Carolina, with a patch of grass out back and a second-hand Weber grill I snagged at a yard sale. My family's a 25-minute drive away. Close enough, I always thought it meant something. Didn't. The Saturday of Ellie's recital started simple. I rented folding chairs from a church down the street and set up a makeshift stage in our community center's multipurpose room. I hung fairy lights and printed programs on my inkjet, Ellie's name in bold at the top. Ellie's first piano recital. I even baked cupcakes, chocolate, her favorite, with sprinkles that got all over the counter. I'd reserved the room for 2 hours, free because I'd fixed their AC unit last summer. Ellie practiced her pieces Twinkle Twinkle and a halting version of For Elise for weeks. She'd sit at our thrift store upright piano, her small fingers stretching for the keys, her tongue poking out when she hit a wrong note, a clap like she'd just played Carnegie Hall. My mom promised she'd be there, wouldn't miss it. Marcus. She said over the phone, her voice warm like it used to be. My sister, Lauren, swore she'd bring her famous lemon bars. My brother, Derek, said he'd swing by after his shift at the auto shop. Even Aunt June, who never leaves her house without a full face of makeup, texted, "I'll bring the kids." I set out water bottles and paper plates on a folding table, taped a trash bag to the wall to keep the place tidy. Ellie wore a navy dress with a white bow, her hair in 2 braids she'd begged me to learn how to do from a YouTube tutorial. 5 of her classmates showed up, along with their parents, who smiled and made small talk about the weather. The room smelled like vanilla frosting and fresh paint. I kept checking my phone, thinking maybe a text would explain a delay. Nothing. When the clock hit 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I told Ellie to start warming up. She didn't ask about Grandma or Aunt Lauren. She just sat at the piano, her little shoulders squared, and played scales like a pro. The recital began at 3.15. Ellie played first, her fingers careful but steady. The small crowd clapped, and I hooped loud enough to make her giggle. Other kids took turns, some on violin, one on a recorder that squeaked like a dying bird. I stood by the door, glancing out the window every few minutes, expecting a car to pull up. Nobody came. At 3.45, my phone buzzed. A text from Lauren. Caught up. Sorry. Next time. Then a notification from her Instagram story, a photo of her clinking wine glasses at some rooftop bar, captioned, "Living our best life." My mom was in the background, laughing, her earrings catching the sunlight. Derek's hand, with that stupid skull tattoo I told him not to get, was holding a beer. I stood there, holding a cupcake with a crumbling edge, and felt something sour climb up my throat. Ellie finished her second piece, and the room erupted in applause. I clapped hardest, my hands stinging, and smiled so wide my cheeks hurt. She ran over, her braids bouncing, and asked, "Can we have cupcakes now, Dad?" I nodded, handed her one, and stepped into the kitchenette to splash water on my face. The sink smelled like bleach. My phone buzzed again. Mom. Don't be dramatic. Marcus. It's just a kid's recital. She'll have more. I read it 3 times, each word like a pebble in my shoe. Just a kid's recital. I wanted to type back, to ask what was so important about a rooftop bar that they couldn't drive 25 minutes for a 9-year-old who'd been practicing for months. Instead, I wiped my hands on a paper towel and went back to the room. Ellie was passing out cupcakes, her dress now dusted with sprinkles. The other parents stayed, chatting about school and summer camps. One mom, Mrs. Carter from down the street, brought over a tray of cookies. "Great turnout," she said, and I nodded like my neck was made of wood. When the last kid left, Ellie and I stacked the chairs. She didn't ask about her family, and I didn't bring it up. We drove home, her humming for Elise in the back seat, a cupcake wrapper crumpled in her hand. At home, she fell asleep on the couch, her head on my arm, still in her dress. I carried her to bed, then sat at the kitchen table, staring at the programs I'd printed. I folded them into a drawer, next to unpaid bills and a grocery list. My phone buzzed again at 9:02 in the evening. A voicemail from Mom. "Marcus, don't make this a thing. Ellie's fine. Kids forget this stuff." I didn't listen to the rest. I set the phone down and counted the chairs I'd need to return. That's what I count. I fix. I keep things in order. I've always been the steady one. The one who knows how to reset a circuit breaker or file taxes on time. When Dad left at 19, Mom leaned on me like I was the new foundation of the house. "You're the man now," she said, not as encouragement but as a blueprint. When Lauren started her boutique, I built her website for free, stayed up late learning code from online forums. When Derek wrecked his car, I covered the insurance deductible. "Just this once," he said. But once became twice, then 3 times. I drove Mom to the ER when she sprained her ankle, paid for her meds when her insurance lapsed. I never asked for much back, just show up. Be there. They didn't. Ellie came into my life when I was 26, a surprise from a relationship that didn't last. Her mom, Sarah, left when Ellie was 2, chasing a music career in Nashville that never took off. I promised Ellie she'd never feel like an afterthought. I'd make sure she had birthday cakes, new shoes, a bed with clean sheets. Money's always been tight. HVAC work pays decent, but night shifts are brutal and childcare eats half my check. I sold my old motorcycle to cover her piano lessons. When her sneakers wore out, I found a pair at Goodwill and scrubbed them until they looked new. Meanwhile, my family's group chat was a highlight reel of brunches, spa days, and Derek's new truck he couldn't afford but leased anyway. A week after the recital, my phone lit up with a group text from Lauren. All caps, confetti emojis, "Jason's 40th birthday extravaganza, $1,800 per person, Venmo me by Tuesday." Attached was a PDF invite, glossy and overdone, with a photo of Jason in a tuxedo, a venue with chandeliers, and a menu boasting artisan charcuterie, and a bespoke cocktail experience. Mom chimed in, "Marcus, you'll cover Aunt June's share, right? She's on Social Security." No mention of Ellie. "No, sorry, we missed the recital." Just a bill, like I was their personal ATM. I stared at the $1,800 number until my eyes burned. My monthly rent is $1,200. I clicked the PDF again and saw my name listed under Platinum sponsors. Lauren had submitted it without asking, using a photo from my LinkedIn profile I'd forgotten I had. My chest tightened, not with anger but with something colder, like frost spreading inside me. I typed, "No," then deleted it. I needed to be deliberate. Words don't stick with them unless they're sharp. That night, while Ellie colored at the table, I made a list on a napkin. Left column what I've done, right column what they've asked. Piano lessons, mine. Lauren's website, mine. Derek's deductible, mine. Mom's ER bill, mine. $1,800 per person for a party I wasn't invited to plan, theirs. I looked at the napkin until it felt like a contract. The next morning, Lauren texted again. "Marcus, you're being weirdly quiet. Don't ruin this for Jason. It's a big deal." I didn't answer. I drove to Home Depot, bought a new deadbolt, and changed the locks. Lauren had a spare key from when she borrowed my car last year and never returned it. The new lock clicked shut, and it felt like I'd sealed something else. To noon, when the group chat was buzzing, Lauren's latte art. Derek's gym selfie. Mom's forwarded Bible verse. I sent a photo of the recital. The fairy lights, the empty chairs, Ellie at the piano, her braids catching the light. I wrote, "This was Ellie's recital. You said you'd come." I let it hang there. The replies came fast, predictable. "Lauren, why bring this up now? Text me privately." "Mom, we're busy people." "Marcus, don't guilt trip us." "Derek, bro, chill. Kids don't care about this stuff." I posted screenshots. Mom's wouldn't miss it. Lauren's, "I'll bring lemon bars." The Instagram story with their wine glasses. No caption, just evidence. Silence followed. Then Mom again, "Focus on Jason's party. Be a team player." My hands shook as I typed, I'm Ellie's dad. I'm her team. You didn't show up for her. You put my name as a sponsor without asking. You want $1,800 each for a party I can't afford. My answer is no. I hit send, then open Venmo. Sent Lauren $2 with the note, happy birthday. A small, sharp jab, like a pinprick to their bubble. Before they could respond, I blocked their numbers. Not out of spite, but because I needed the quiet to hold my ground. 3 days later, at 8:17 in the morning, there was a knock. 2 cops, one older with tired eyes, the other younger, holding a notepad. Morning, the older one said. We're here on a welfare check. Family reported concerns about a minor at this address. Also mentioned possible theft. My stomach dropped, but I kept my voice steady. Come in, I said, opening the door to show Ellie eating cereal, watching cartoons. The living room smelled like coffee and crayons. We're fine, I said. The younger cop nodded at Ellie. You good, kid? She gave a thumbs up, milk on her chin. We stepped into the kitchen. I explained. My family missed Ellie's recital, demanded money for a party, listed me as a sponsor without consent. I showed them my phone screenshots of texts. The Venmo transaction, the PDF invite. Theft? I asked. The older cop read from his notes. Caller mentioned a family heirloom ring. I almost laughed. The only ring here is made of plastic from a gumball machine. They mean the spare key. I changed the locks because they had access they didn't respect. I handed over the old key, tarnished and useless now. The cops exchanged a look. We see this a lot, the older one said. Family leans on one person too long. They push back. Things escalate. Nobody's in danger here. We'll file a report saying so. They left me a card and walked out. That afternoon, I emailed the venue. Attaching screenshots. Remove my name from all materials. I did not authorize sponsorship. I CC'd Lauren and Mom from a new email they didn't have. The venue replied within hours. Your name has been removed. Apologies for the oversight. One thread snipped clean. By evening, my cousin Tara, who I hadn't spoken to in years, texted from a new number, heard what happened. I'm sorry about Ellie's recital. They're losing it over the party budget. Lauren's calling you selfish. I think you're right to stand up. I didn't respond, but her words sat like a warm stone in my pocket. The next few days were a storm of their making. Lauren posted a cryptic Instagram story about cutting out negativity. Derek left a voicemail. Man, Mom's upset. Just pay the deposit. We'll figure it out later. I blocked the number. Mom tried the landline. Her voice tight. Marcus, this isn't you. Family doesn't act like this. I let the machine blink. Neighbors stepped up instead. Mrs. Carter brought over a lasagna. You're doing good, Marcus. She said, like we'd survived something together. Maybe we had. The night of Jason's party, I took Ellie to a local music shop. We tested keyboards, her fingers dancing over the keys, her laugh louder than the store's speakers. We got ice cream after, chocolate dripping down her wrist. I didn't check my phone for updates on a party I'd never see. I didn't care about their chandeliers or bespoke cocktails. Tara texted later. The party was a mess. Lauren fought with the caterer. Mom complained about the lighting. Nobody mentioned you or Ellie. I set the phone down and watched Ellie line up her stuffed animals for a concert on the couch. The week after, life felt lighter. The duplex hummed with its own rhythm note waiting for a key to turn. No dreading the next group chat ping. I told my boss I couldn't take extra shifts for a while. Go be a dad, he said, like it was obvious. I signed Ellie up for a summer music camp, using money I'd saved for emergencies. On Friday, card arrived in the mail, scrawled in kid handwriting. Dear Ellie, sorry we missed your piano thing. My mom said we had to go somewhere else. Here's for ice cream. Inside was a crumpled $1 bill. Ellie taped it to her piggy bank, grinning like it was gold. I took a picture of her smile and saved it, not for them, but for us.